This is the most excited I've been to like film a video in a hot minute. Like, I'm so excited. Hey guys, it's Elena. Welcome back to my channel. I am so pumped to make this video. First, excuse the mess. It's spring break and I'm home and currently sharing a room, just a mess. But I'm really excited because I've recently got back into just a huge reading kick. I loved to read growing up and I've always kind of kept that like reading streak, but recently I have been super into it. So I'm really excited to share with you guys my book haul. I bought a lot of books from Barnes & Noble just now and I can't wait to read them. So let's just get right on into it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to break it up by like genre-ish. So I have two books that are actually religious reads, which is super exciting. So the first one I actually picked up from Target. This is Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. This book has been around for a while and I've read a little bit of it before, but I wanted to get my own copy. And so far it's really good. I'm obsessed. She's awesome. Lots of wisdom. And then the second book my mom actually got for me. I haven't started reading it yet, but it is Bob Goff's new book. It's Undistracted, and I've heard some good things about this. So I'm excited to kind of skim through these throughout the next few days and kind of get a gist for more of what they're about, because I really couldn't tell you because I don't know yet. Okay, so I'm really excited. A lot of these you'll probably know because, you know, book talk, booktube, all the book things. But I definitely made like a to be read list of books I wanted to read. So I bought pretty much almost the whole thing. I'm gonna start with like the most popularly well-known romance books that I haven't gotten around to reading yet. So you've probably seen these 100 times, but the first book I picked up was The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book. And I'm in a really big summer book vibe, so I'm really excited to read this. And the cover is so pretty, and I've heard it's set in Hawaii, and that is like a super awesome little romance novel read. So super excited to start this. So I read Emily Henry's first, I don't know if it's her first one. I read her People We Meet on Vacation book and fell in love with it. It was like my favorite book I've ever read. So I'm gonna read this next one called Beach Read, and I've heard it's a really awesome book as well. And I love the way she writes. It's really interesting to me. So I'm super excited to read this. Guys, it's editing Elena here. So I did want to come on here really quick and just say I did end up reading Beach Read. I got almost all the way through it, but there is a very explicit scene in that book that nobody had talked about, so I wasn't aware of it, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't end up finishing it because I don't read sex scenes and I don't enjoy watching them either, so I didn't end up finishing it, which was disappointing because I did like the book up until that point. But if you guys don't like reading those things or any of that either, I would recommend not to read that book because it was pretty rough. Also, I know The Honeymooners has said some things about it being like the sexiest romance, and I didn't like really look into the books before I bought them, so I want to ask y'all if you've read it. Is it like too much? Because I did say I read People We Meet on Vacation, and I did like it, and there was a little bit of like spice to it, but it wasn't like to where I felt uncomfortable or I couldn't read it, or you just like skim over those pages and skip the chapter or whatever. It's not a big deal. But I did want to throw that out there because I don't really love it. Like, write what you want to write, but I don't want to read it. So yeah, sorry, just want to throw that out there. So the next few books, I'm actually really excited. I'm trying to kind of expand my genres of reading. So I have, obviously I'm going to show you guys religious, and then we also have romance, which is my favorite genre, but I wanted to kind of expand what I read. I don't read a lot of fiction, and I just don't read a lot of stuff like that, but I picked up this book that I actually found just browsing around. I've never heard anyone talk about it. It's called How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, and it sounds really interesting. It's about a guy who has a disease so he can't age, and he basically gets to experience like all the different eras of history. So I'm excited to read this, like nerdily excited to get into it and see if it's a good book. But yeah, I'm really jazzed to see if it's good or not. I just read that off the back cover, so not spoiling, but hopefully this is a good book, and I thought the cover was great as well.
Missed me so much. Okay, so I actually just finished that book, and I would love to do a video where I like review books or something. Like, that'd be cool. Anyways, I did just finish that book. It was such a good book. If you like romance, it's not like a romance, but like there is like sprinkles of romance in it, and it is just so good, and it's really interesting. And if you like history, but even if you don't love history, like there's sprinkles of history, and like it is so good, and I really liked it, and I recommend it. It's written so beautifully, like the way he writes is so pretty, and I think it's awesome. So I definitely would recommend it, and it makes you think about how you spend your days and your time differently. So definitely go check it out.
And then this the next book. I read The Great Gatsby probably a year ago now, and I really enjoyed The Great Gatsby. Some of it was a little like confusing with the wording, but I thought it was overall a really good book. And of course you can't beat Scott Fitzgerald's writing, but another author, Michael Ferris Smith, actually wrote this book called Nick, and it's kind of a spin-off of The Great Gatsby, and it's about Nick Carraway and like pre-Great Gatsby slash like post-Gatsby. So I'm really excited to read this and kind of see what it's about. I'm assuming it's kind of easier to read because it's not Scott Fitzgerald's writing, so I'm actually really jazzed to kind of get into this and see what's going on. Oh yeah, and also if you guys wanted to know, this is the genre of this book is historical fiction, and then this is just regular fiction slash like it could be historical fiction as well, but it was in just the fiction and this was in historical fiction. Okay, so the last 3 books that I got I'm really excited about, and these are probably the most hyped up books that I've heard people talk about besides Beach Read. I really didn't want to buy this book because I'm really nervous that I'm not gonna like it. I hate fantasy, like it's not for me. Fantasy and mystery aren't like my jams, but I really want to expand my reading palette, so I did end up getting The Inheritance Games. It's by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I've heard very good things about this book and I'm hoping it's good. And they also have another book called The Hawthorne Legacy, so hopefully it's good. I don't really have any expectations. I actually don't have TikTok, but I have a friend who has TikTok and she tells me about all the popular book talk books, but I have obviously seen this all over YouTube as well, so I'm a little nervous to read it because I know like everybody loves this book, but I also don't know what to expect, and so I feel like it's not really gonna impact like my expectations, if that makes sense. So in the next book that I bought, I'm actually really excited about. My favorite genre to read in the book sphere is dystopia. I think it's fascinating. I loved The Giver. I read that in middle school and it was so interesting to me. And then my favorite book series since I was a kid was the Divergent series. I loved it so much. But I know like all dystopias don't necessarily interest me, so I'm interested to see if I like this one. This is The Selection by Kiera Cass. I've heard a lot of people talk about this as well. I've heard it described as like a Bachelor-esque book, so I'm kind of excited to see what happens in this. I also know it's a series. They have The Elite and they have one Happily Ever After, Heir, and Crown. So there's 6 books. But I didn't want to get them all in case I didn't like it. But I've heard that it's a good book, so hopefully I like it. But yeah, funny enough, I didn't like The Hunger Games, but I really liked Divergent. Like reading The Hunger Games was boring to me. So definitely don't vibe with all dystopias, but hopefully that one will be like really interesting. And like don't spoil any of these in the comments for anybody, but comment down below what your favorite book out of these are if you've read them, or if you like want me to read something, let me know. Based on what I've said about books, like love a good romance book that's not too, you know, steamy into all that. I like just cute romance books. I also love just like fun fiction books that are like easy, cool, quick reads, and I love dystopia books. So let me know what you think I should read. The last book I got is very random. I saw that we have like a small Colleen Hoover section in our Barnes Noble, and I saw this book and I've heard people talk about it more recently, and so I decided to pick it up. It's the Verity book, which I think is like a thriller slash romance. Yeah, that's what it says about it. A standalone romantic thriller. I'm really excited to see what it's about because I love thriller movies, but I've never read a thriller book. So I'm kind of excited to see how that plays out. But I also, I don't know, like I've heard a lot about her writing, like a lot of different things, so I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it or not. So I'm excited to see. I've heard like her romance books are really good, and I love her romance. So I'm really excited to read this. My friend read her book Ugly Love and she like sobbed and she said it was really good. And I know there's been a lot of books that she's written like November 9th that people like and stuff like that, so hopefully this is good. I'm excited to see. I've never read one of her books, and so I'm excited to see if she like lives up to this little hype that she has. So that's really exciting. I love when authors have like super exciting hype around them and people are obsessed with them. So yeah, that was my little book haul. I felt so obligated to put this in because I got 2 more books at a local bookstore literally 2 days after I filmed this. So I really wanted to show you guys really quick. I got this book called Gone with the Wind, and yes, you've probably heard of the movie Gone with the Wind. What a shock. It's like based off the book or something. So I got this book, Gone with the Wind. It's by Margaret Mitchell. It was in the classic literature section, and I love classic literature, and it's a little thicky. She is, let me tell you guys how many pages this is. Let me see. Oh, it's like 1,000 pages of the actual book, like the actual. So I'm really excited to read that. And then I also got another really popular, it's classic, obviously, George Orwell, very classic book, 1984. I've never actually had to read this, and I took AP British Lit, so I'm very surprised that I didn't read a lot of George Orwell. I think I read like a book by him. So I'm really excited to read this. I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I also got these 2 books, and I'm really excited to read them. Well, the first, hopefully, of many. That just made me so happy because I've been waiting to buy books for a very long time. So I don't know, it's probably gonna take me a hot month to read all of these, but I'm super excited. If you're wondering what I'm gonna start with, let me lay them all out in front of me. Let's see. I'm probably gonna start reading Beach Read because I'm on spring break and I flew through people we meet on vacation, so I'll probably start with this one and then we'll work our way down. I'll definitely, if you guys are interested, make like reviews on the books that I've read, and like I have a lot of TikTok books that I didn't know were TikTok books that I've read that I would love to review for you guys. So that's all today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love y'all so much, and I can't wait to make more videos for y'all. Let me know what you want to see, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Over West County, take my hand, shop and see, only get paid hourly.